What's going on, everybody? You don't need to see that. Welcome back to episode 49. We're growing. We're one away from big old 50. End of the year. We timed that out perfectly, worked it out. Take a couple weeks off in between there, things to work out like that.
Indeed.
It's
That's
great.
crazy.
It's good. I like it, though. Oh, boy.
It's fair. Yeah.
If you're on video, background stuff stopped working. We don't worry about that right now. We'll fix it later. You heard his voice once before. Once again, joined by Mr. Kyle the Fish a few days before Christmas. How are you doing, sir? Are you in the spirit, getting ready for the big day?
Yeah, we just went to Dollar Tree and bought all the simple little nicky knacks, that stuff you don't need, little snacks and candies that you don't need but you want, We got those for the stockings this year. And yeah, we got to wrap probably tomorrow. We're probably gonna start wrapping some stuff tomorrow. I don't want to do it on Christmas Eve, but our daughter is 16 months now, and she loves taking things out and putting them back in. So she's gonna love taking things out of bags. That's gonna be really fun, and she likes ripping up napkins. So I'd imagine a wrapped gift might help her as well. I mean, I think she'll like that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Christmas. It's a whole new angle to a holiday, right? Like I have family who has kids, but it's different when it's your own and then actually like doing it and like, hey, Christmas is what you make it for them. They don't know what it is. It's nothing if you don't do anything. So it's cool. It's gonna be fun to do it from that angle. Last year she was just like a potato. you know, she was 6 months at that point, and just still like, hey, I'm a baby, sleeping a lot. This year she's running around, so it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. How about you? I know you've had your Christmas lights up for years, I bet, at this point.
Day after Halloween. Hearing you say you haven't even wrapped stuff yet gives me anxiety. That is wild.
I mean, we're not going overboard, and it's just like me and my wife are going to spend a night wrapping gifts, hanging out, and then we're done. Just for a baby to rip it apart.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, see, it's like low stress, no issue. The baby has looked at the gifts and won't care about the thing yet. She's not at that age, so we get a year of being like chill. One more year being chill with it. Next year, it's definitely going to be like, oh, she'll probably be aware, like, oh, Christmas gifts, Santa probably. Like, we have to decide on how we're doing that. So, yeah, low stress. Hey, we'll wrap it when we wrap it. Come on, it's not that big a deal. That's a fun evening over some wine.
That works. Yeah, like you said, I've had it since day after Halloween, and we had like wrapping done. I think I have one left just because I've been lazy that I need done. But we don't go like obviously that first year not going overboard. But yeah, I am big Christmas. Yard's been decorated for a while. I've lost some inflatables throughout the year, sadly. Need to get new ones. I'm kind of sad though, because we're not like I don't want to jinx it. We're kind of like California Christmas right now. Where it's like Christmas Day is supposed to be 45 degrees or something, which is unheard of. Like that's not normal. I don't like it.
Yeah, no, it's 68 right now, but yeah, Wednesday is Christmas for us? Yeah, it's supposed to be 63. So that is that's nice. Not awful. It should be overcast. That always helps, but yeah, man.
I'm like all of our snow should be here
during the cold. Getting too hot during the cold times, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
That'd be good. Are you knocking out any other games this week? I mean, you don't have like a normal holiday break like everyone else, obviously. You got baby duty nonstop, but you got anything on your agenda to get done before the end of the year?
I don't like not before the end of the year because that's impossible. Because the one thing would be Persona, and God, I'm not beating Persona 3 before the end of the year. That's drop everything, and that's all I'm doing. And I'm not. I will say I have been like thinking about it, and that I'm going back to it at some point. It's like I'm not touching it because I don't want to commit to it yet, right? I know what it's going to require of me to get back in, and I'm willing to do that, but not yet. Gotta wait. Gotta get through indie and some other games, but yeah, don't have a typical holiday break time than other people. So it's just same, just another day, really, if you treat it that way. But I working on Indiana Jones, which we'll talk a little more about later. But doing that with my wife, so I'm not playing too much without her. I just got to Giza, and as soon as the cutscene when you're in the giant blimp, that cutscene ends. That's where I paused it, and that's where I am. So still early on, but I'm enjoying it. We'll go over that a little later.
That's fun.
But yeah, I think I don't think there's really anything else I'm like aiming to beat, really. But let me think about it. What about you? What do you got on your list?
I got a few. It's been weird. Like this year in general has been wild. And this is the first full year I've had with like quote unquote adult job where I actually have holiday time off now. So I can actually like do the whole holiday break, plan stuff out. Also requested a couple days off this week, so I literally only work Monday, Tuesday, and that's it till next Monday. Like I have time. Like you started Indiana Jones. I love what you said because I was creeping on your achievements last night. We are literally at the exact same spot in that game. And stopped at the exact same spot, which is perfect. Um Thanks to the kind contributions of Western Big Nerd Gaming on Twitter, who you may be hearing from soon on this exact show. I also started Tales of Kanzara Zhao this week. Kind of want to finish that up. I'm about the halfway point. And the last one that I have time. I have till June. Re-downloaded xDefiant this week after the bad news came out about it. God, I've been having a blast, Kyle. What a game. And I want to say kudos to that team when they got the rug pulled from them from Ubisoft, that they just went full balls to the walls wild with it. They just added every single map that was in development, whether it was finished or not. There's untextured bits, there's maps without music. They added all the skins without actual names on them, so skins for characters are like test filed names in the actual game. They just let the floodgates go, and it is a wild, wild fun time.
That's what I saw online, and that's really cool. So I know I sent you the menu music because someone posted the menu music, which features the Assassin's Creed to Ezio's Auditory's theme. That's kind of the startup boot menu, and I tweeted at you and was like, "Let me know. You should have showed me this, but that's new for this season." And then I saw all the weird stuff that they added that are not weird, but just not complete, and that's awesome. That's really really cool. That no, even though this team is I don't know what the team is shutting down, but the game's shutting down, so the team who knows what's up with the studio going on, to be able to get your work out still is awesome, and to show like, hey, it's not done, but hey, who cares? Like that's just a really hey, it's a silver lining at least for us as gamers. And I do want to commit. I do want to play this before June, just because I
This
like
week.
Assassin's Creed stuff,
This week, jump on it.
and I know you really like it, so we'll hop in at some point. I will commit to that. We'll plan it out, but yeah, that's it. So
It's goofy. I honestly can't remember a time where like a game shut down and they just kind of let it go without doing all this extra work. Not extra work because there's stuff they had in the pipeline, obviously, but actually releasing it, because usually that stuff's just thrown away. You never hear about it. A year from now, we would have heard like, oh, there's a Rayman level in development for it. But no, they just gave it to everyone for free. All the levels are unlocked, all the gun skins are unlocked, character skins are unlocked. So it's fun. Yeah, as you said, they added the assassins. They added the character from Far Cry Blood Dragon is his own faction by himself. I'm guessing they were doing more, but they only had time to add one. And I think the third faction is from Breakpoint, the Wildlands Breakpoint games. So they added 3 factions all in one go. Obviously not complete. Like I said, the names aren't even done yet for half of these, but I also learned the guy in charge of this, that Ubisoft hired on to be in charge, is like ex Call of Duty guy. But when I say he's ex Call of Duty guy, I mean like he's quite literally. Oh, let me find it. On the original Modern Warfare case, like he's quite literally this guy in the image that they used for the cover of the game, Mark Rubin. Like he is Call of Duty that they use for the stand-in, I believe, on 1, 2, and 3. So when they were like, "Oh, we got ex Call of Duty guys in here," they meant it literally. which I thought was really fun.
Fascinating. That's interesting.
Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever you're ready. It's installed. I'm ready to go. Having a good time. I'm at the point now. Obviously, it's a multiplayer game. I'm not going to beat it, quote unquote, but I'm aiming for all the achievements. And one of them is for playing a game with a friend. So you would help out on that, and that would leave me with one left to reach rank 50. Which by June,
yeah,
it's doable.
Yeah, I could play with you then.
Hell
That's doable. Just for a round and then
yeah. Dip
dead
out.
game dead.
That game dead.
But yeah.
Like you said, let's jump into Indiana Jones. This episode pretty much is going to be our catch-up episode. Last games we're playing for the year. Next year, big look back, look ahead. But this will be the last normal get-together for the year. Talk about what we're playing. Thankfully, had a big release in there that we didn't have time to talk about with Game Awards. Indiana Jones. Machine Games, finally out. After what feels like an eternity. I remember the day this was announced and like waking up, rolling over in bed, looking at Twitter, and like that was the first teaser trailer on my page that morning. Like I feel like it's been years I've been waiting on this. Finally here. Critical acclaim, people love it. I've seen some back and forth, but for the most part, majority positive, thankfully, because that's a good way to end off the year. Mentioned both pretty much at the same part. First level done, which are big levels. It is very wide open, sprawling, kind of go at your own pace. You have a diary of sorts, keeping track of clues you're finding for secrets, and it's just very open ended. There's not a lot of hand holding. It will give you kind of like an orange marker of, hey, if you're lost, this is kind of where you need to go for your next thing. But other than that, it's a very open-ended experience that I am, for the most part, enjoying. I wouldn't say I love it quite yet for what it is. I do have a few issues that I've experienced, but quite pleased so far on my end.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty similar with Indiana Jones in the Great Circle. I think it is what Insomniac Spider-Man is to the ethos of Spider-Man. This game will probably be that to Indiana Jones, right? Like, it's just unequivocally Indiana Jones, and Troy Baker does a great job of not just doing a Harrison Ford impersonation, but playing Indiana Jones, like impersonating Indiana Jones himself, right? There is a difference there, and I think it's really, really good so far. Of course, like we're both early on in the game. I've liked that. I know based off reviews and such that Giza is a lot more open than the Vatican area, which is the first major section that you're in. So I'm excited to see what that is. I was surprised with the Vatican and how it's laid out and how open-ended it was. You know, just quickly finding a couple different field missions or field work. I forget what it's called exactly, but it's like the side quest and such. So that was surprising with how many there were and like the variety of them, and kind of how I felt like it was seamlessly found in the same way. Like I didn't feel like, all right, well, I'm not going to do the main quest, so I'm going to choose and go over here. Is like I just felt like I more naturally stumbled upon it, and it was a part of the story as opposed to checking off a checklist. And that probably goes with the game design, the UI, the art design being so immersive. Like it is an immersive sim game. It is, you are Indiana Jones, and when you pull up the map, it is, you know, Indiana Jones looking down and pulling up the book, and you can still walk around while you have that map open, that menu open, which is really cool. And then once you switch to like the quest tab, I think it's the journal or the notes, whatever, then you like freeze and you can't walk anymore. But it's like being able to just walk around with the map, like that feels immersive, and I think that adds to the seamlessness of going from quest to quest and thing to thing there. It plays really well. It looks fantastic. They added an update uh, since the today. They've updated it, and I did notice the lighting get a little better on my Series X. I haven't touched Series S yet. I do plan on at some point just seeing the difference and whatnot. But this game runs really well. I think that's probably what really helps this game is the seams of it are hidden right? Like Machine Games did a great job with the technical side of this game. I haven't had too many bugs and such. Um, kind of the way they like when you quit the game and then the menu is where you're at and then it loads right back in. It's like you're just already in the story even when you leave the game. It's little touches like that. One thing technically impressive, but little touches like that I think help a lot with just feeling there's completing the whole package of what this game is, and it is an Indiana Jones game. It captures the magic of and the feeling of the movies so well. The music cues are so great. I'm just enjoying it, and I can't wait to see more. I'm loving hearing that the villain. I've saw today a couple posts across the social media apps of people highlighting Emmerich Voss. Is that the guy?
Yep.
I don't know. But the main villain guy apparently, like they keep praising his performance, and I haven't seen him too much yet. But so far he's been intriguing of a guy. So I want to see more of that. But yeah, just looking forward to playing more of it. So far, solid game.
Yeah, it's the way I've thought about it, it surprises me at how well it does at keeping, like you said, with the side missions, how you feel like you're naturally following through with these, naturally completing them and wanting to complete them. Like every one, I haven't looked out because you can look, it'll show like, hey, there's a side quest start in this area if you go here or whatever. I haven't done that, but every time I've stumbled across them, I've still taken the time to kind of stop everything I'm doing. Like I want to explore and open up whatever is hidden or do the puzzle there, which I'm surprised by in a way that the rewards for it usually aren't worth it or there. And we're so used to games nowadays where like you need instant rewards, you need instant upgrades, you need instant gratification. You need to feel like your time was worth it being spent, which this game doesn't really do that. And I mean that in a good way because it's refreshing. Like just doing a puzzle and completing it, like you get that satisfaction. They're not too hard. They're not something you feel like you're just a fish out of water trying to figure out blindly. There's usually multiple parts in the same room or in a general area that'll give you hints or push you in the right direction of solving things. And it natural rewarding is, I feel like it's lost anymore. So coming across it in this game, I was surprised that I was being that attached to it and being like, hell yeah, we did this, whatever, like spending time. It was awesome. Um,
Yeah, I agree. Like it feels like you get open a chest and it's just like a thing. You're like, all right, cool. It's not like you're getting a +5 whip, right? It's not anything like that. You're not upgrading your gear, but I do feel like a lot of the quest to though open up like new pathways into where to go. Like in the Vatican area, there's where you first walk out of the library. Right to the right, there's that fenced off area that's a restricted area. And I walked in there, I snuck in there, dealt with most of the guards, got to pass them, but then there's a locked door that I couldn't go by, and I'm trying to take a photograph of all the inscriptions, and there's one behind this door, but it's locked. And I looked on IGN, I was like, I can't figure this out. You have to do the side quest, and that unlocked that area to then go into the thing. So I was like, oh, okay, got it. That's how it's going to be. I won't look it up anymore. I'll just move on to the next quest, and know that the game will like progressed and the area will open up for me. And those are two side quests. They weren't quests that were mandatory, right? So I could have just missed it, but by doing the side quest, I opened up more of that area and we're able to explore more and unlock other things and such. So yeah, the exploration just feels really nailed and on point, and it's fun.
yeah. Too with that exploration, a lot of that too, like opening that pathway you're talking about, there is a lot of, hey, you progress the story a little bit, we'll give you kind of a shortcut to this area through here. Like this hallway or door will be unlocked from here on out after you beat the mission. So it kind of gives you starting zones of, hey, beat this part of the main quest. It'll kind of open up this back area over here, which you may or may not have been able to get to by climbing up walls or doing whatever beforehand, but it makes it an easier, accessible way of exploring, which there has been a few times, especially in the Vatican, of again, this first area we've gone through, where I essentially broke into a part of the main building. Most of the doors were locked off to me, so I did what I could. And then, like, 2 missions later, I went there naturally. It's like, oh, there's a secret passageway to get into this area. I'm like, oh, I've already been here and done a bunch of stuff. Sorry. Like the secret tunnel to get here is cool, but I kind of found it on my own. But it doesn't affect it. Like, it doesn't change anything. Like, you still got that natural sense of exploration out of it. And I'm curious, yeah, hearing you say Gaza is a more open zone because the Vatican, Giza, sorry, the Vatican is open in a traditional sense. Like, you have multiple buildings, there's a couple different courtyards and like sections to go through, but it was still pretty point A to point B.
And that's just basing it off of reviews that I read and heard and listened to of people saying, like, comparing like Gaza to Giza, like Giza to
Vatican.
The Vatican, Giza being a little more open and adding a little more to it, which just makes a little more sense for the setting, anyways, right? So, but yeah, so I don't know yet. Have not played it.
Be interesting. I'll be curious to see how long that stuff holds on, how long the natural rewards and stuff keep me wanting to do it. Even with the Vatican, as great as it was as like an opening level and first level, there was times like, I'm ready for a change of scenery, I'm ready for next kind of area. And especially towards the end of it, it very quickly barrels you down a path of new zone, new underground zone, new zone. Like, it, once, if you focus and golden path this, I'd be curious to see how people respond to it, not getting all the extra side bits and puzzles and sense of discovery, if that changes anyone's viewpoint on it. But fun time.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
How are you feeling with the combat and stuff so far? That's where my first issues kind of roll in with Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah, I think the combat is fine. I enjoy the pick up stuff and kind of throw things and the comical physical ragdolliness kind of the enemies at times. Like, there's been times like I said on the last episode, you know, I'm pretty sure maybe it was on something, but I like jumped down into a courtyard and or I just accidentally jumped off of a courtyard and landed, and there was 4 enemies, and it was just like, ah, shit, all right, we're fighting. Felt very Indiana Jones, and it was just me running around the courtyard with them chasing me, throwing bottles at the one closest to me to knock him, and then the other ones get stuck behind him and they all stagger, and then I run away, and then we repeat that process until I got them down low enough, or until there's just one of them, because I was also low health as well. It's just goofy and fun, and the enemies are dumb. The AI is not incredibly smart. It's not like I have to be incredibly tactical and really smart about where I'm moving, and I don't need that. I'm fine with that. This feels like a 90s action movie, and I'm down for that, where it's just like goofy. It's like I'm walking past the guards, and they're literally like I'm right here crouched next to them, and they're like, the bar goes a little but then goes away, and I'm like, okay, you guys can see me, but whatever. Whatever. It's fine. It's fun. Yeah, I think there's enough goofiness to it where I can have fun with it, and that's enough for me.
Yeah, it's goofy enough, like, almost to like warrant the bad AI, where it's not frustrating to do combat. It's not the most innovative thing in the world, but being able to kind of like cat and mouse them around the map and whip them or like knock their weapon out of their hands and do weird stuff, like, it just becomes a fun little game essentially. There's not really any danger. You're not dying, quote unquote. You get knocked down, you drop your hat, and if you pick it up again, you pop right back up, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, what happened?" Like, it's just over the top, around goofy.
Yeah, which is fun, and it's a video game, so I like it. So I'm intrigued to see how it progresses. Is it just this the whole time? That'll be interesting. But yeah, just the items add enough thing. You know, like sneaking up to an enemy and hitting him on the head with a bottle, and then he like crashes through the chair as if he got slammed through, and it's like, gee, like, it was just a glass bottle. Like, I did hit him on the head, but he like, oh, and he's just down. It's just a little goofy enough to be add that the goofiness adds a lot of charm. Very charming.
Yeah, it's been fun seeing it though, coming in, because in my head I was comparing this like oh, this is going to be kind of a serious, like, how,
Okay, so the clip on stream, they climb up the ladder, you push them off. Another one climbs up, you push them off. Like that's, and then the clip from the movie right away is the game is very much Indiana Jones. That is a very, I don't know, they captured that very well. So sorry,
yeah.
I was sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say I was worried that it would be too serious almost, and that they would lean too much into their Wolfenstein roots and make it some like super extremely stealthy required, super like head down, you need to focus the whole time. But it's not. You can run around, have fun. You're switching outfits in front of people, and they're like, "Oh, what was that? I don't remember that." Or like, I don't know if you found you can actually find enemy's uniform in the Vatican, so you have three of them, and you can like sneak around their areas and stuff. And like, I don't quite remember you, and they start following you along, like they want to check, and there's like, oh, it's fine, whatever, and leave you alone. Like it's old school gaming fun, despite its flaws. It's just a fun thing to explore and look around in and do puzzles and see the sights. Like you said, very gorgeous game. I've had almost no hiccups so far. Um, Sceneries are great. I've used screen capture a lot of my Xbox so far, taken just scenic views. That should be popping up in the back of this podcast, but it's not working. But yeah, it's just fun. I'm happy that it's succeeded. I feel like there was kind of a worry, especially still with licensed games. There is kind of that overlying, is this going to work out? Is this going to transition to nowadays, especially something like Indiana Jones has had kind of a rougher history recently, that people have taken to it kindly.
Would you kindly?
Would you kindly?
Yes, sorry, that distracted me. I confused myself with that Bioshock reference. Attempt at one. Yeah, especially given the property of Indiana Jones. What was the last movie? You know, like it just is not a property that is super super hot right now. I think the ride at Disneyland is probably the hottest thing going for it, and then this game. So that's really cool. I'm really, I'm excited to play more. Looking forward to beating it. That's definitely something. Hopefully by next week, that'd be cool to be able to talk about it end of the year and where games stand in lists and whatnot. But we'll see. But I'm intrigued to see what comes of Indiana Jones as a franchise now. Did this move the needle enough, or is it just a good game? Right? It's only been out for a week. We'll see in the next month or two how many, they're going to post numbers, of course, how many people downloaded and played it, great review scores. It also comes out on PlayStation 5. So how is that going to sell? What are the numbers going to be? And then what is the property long term? Like, is this now, are we going to get a sequel to this? Or is this just one and done and now Machine Games does Wolfenstein again? Or what? Is this now like Insomniac? Are they a Indiana Jones studio? Are they like a Spider-Man studio? So I'm intrigued because now the game's good. But what comes next for the studio?
Do you want an actual answer to that question?
What the hell? How do you know that? You have an insider?
I've seen insider. Actually, it started coming up today from Jez Gordon on Twitter that there is
that ass.
Yeah, there's more indie coming. Which good.
That makes sense.
I'm happy for that. Like I'd rather that than one and done. It died out. It was worth a try type thing. I just hope that it doesn't, which they're not one to do it, but become a every other year forcible thing that they're kind of forced to put out. Give it its time to work on it, make it worthwhile every time, and not make it a cash grab.
Oh yeah, yep, definitely not. Yeah, that'll be interesting. We'll see more when it comes out.
Big good Machine Games. The other game that's doing really good, Kyle, which I will gladly take a bullet for because I was on the wrong side of history with this one leading into launch. Marvel Rivals has been your jam, and I'm so curious as to why. Not being an Overwatch fan, not being in this scene previously, you're on Marvel Rivals hype train, full stop.
Yeah, I haven't played in like a week, but yeah. Since last week. It's been a week over here. Just been schedule wise. But yeah, no, I still have been dying to play. I really do like it. I think it's, there's something about being free to play that helps it's hot, right? It's Marvel IP that adds to it. Of course, I know Overwatch is now free to play, but this is new. It's flashy. It's fun, uh, and yeah, I think I think I'm just also better at game now. You know, I'm better at games, and I think I understand it more. Whereas Overwatch, that was probably my first time ever picking up a game like that, right? And then not actively playing with people. And then by the time, you know, being like, hey, Overwatch 2, like maybe I can commit to this with some friends. Like, let's try it out. It just, no one is playing it. And then you're solo queuing and it's kind of So this is new. I think that's definitely part of it. But it's a game from NetEase that is really, really solid. And it's fun to play. And it's a good time. Yeah. So definitely gonna keep playing it. I'm excited to see the people they add and the meta and stuff that evolves from that. I definitely want some more healers and some more tanks. I
Good
like what they do
healers.
season by season. I don't know if Overwatch did something like that, but at least we don't know yet. This is only one season, but for the first season they have hero team ups. So if you have Hela and Thor and Loki, if you have Hela and you're Thor, you might randomly get resurrected by Hela. And then there's other team ups, and that's season specific. So they're going to change that throughout the thing. So I just wonder what those will be, whatnot. But yeah, I think this is a game that clearly has shown it's going to have legs. It easily can. It's theirs to lose, so to speak, right? If they start making some weird choices monetization wise, and some other things, and they can start losing the audience. But for right now, for the holiday season 2, yeah, this is really fun, and it's hot. The Jeff event I have not tried either, but they do have an event where everyone is Jeff the Shark, and it's like Splatoon.
Oh
So
God, I've not seen
like
that.
yeah, so they got some fun events, or like that is already there. Like that's something that is not the normal mode of Rival. So what else can they do? What can they add? Now it's about how they upgrade it or update it and how they keep it going. But they have clearly carved a section out of the internet and gaming space for themselves here with this game.
Yeah, which like I said, going in, we saw this at a couple showcases this year, multiple times, and every time nothing really clicked for me, and even still playing it hasn't quite. Um, but as of now, they're well over 20 million players after their first 2 weeks, and that was an old number, so probably way above that now. Um, it's just weird, right? Like, I wonder how much of this is carried by the Marvel IP in a year where Overwatch, they did in a great year. Overwatch is greatly struggling from the fan base. But then we also saw Concord come out, which was another, not on the same level, but a hero based team shooter that RIP. And now you have an otherwise unheard of studio in the grand scheme of things. Like people have maybe heard NetEase, but your general person doesn't know or care. Come out with a Marvel branded, very, I would almost say drastically different characters than what we're used to as far as Marvel goes. Stuff like I saw the Wolverine when that came out. A lot of people were like, "What the hell's this character design?" Captain America looks a little goofy. Like, there's weird.
They did though have week 1. They had MCU branded skins from the movie though for a collection of the characters like Wanda,
Yep.
and I think Doctor Strange as well. So like, yeah, some of the characters were different. It's a stretch, but like they also had the marketing or they have the branding rights for the MCU, which is what is hot, right? And I think that is what gets people in the door. I think it does do a lot of the weight to get not just people who are down to play an Overwatch or a Valorant or a tactical or a competitive style hero, whatever type of those multiplayer game. Like there's a crowd that will always try them out, right? Especially when it's free to play. But to get the general audience into the game and to try it out, yeah, Marvel did that. Like these characters and these skins, 100% are getting people into the door more so than not. And then the game is solid to play. And I think it's probably is the heroes I saw a couple online this said, and I kind of agree with it that all the heroes are OP in their own way when you like when they're especially when they're in the right situation or whatnot. And I do feel that with my limited knowledge of these games. So I feel like when you're playing it, it does feel fun to play because you have moments where you're like kind of owning the thing and whatnot. I think it's probably more open to a casual audience than what other games might be, unless you get in the ranked. Rank sounds awful. I haven't tried it yet. But yeah, so I think that all adds to it.
Yeah, which that the ranked thing, how much that actually plays into it, or if they kind of steer away from making it that type of game. Um, Even like you said with the season stuff, along with the team ups, some of the characters are just naturally stronger or do more healing because it's a certain season we're in now. Which I'm, if you start getting into esports type stuff and ranked, and they try to make this a super competitive thing, like, oh, that's eventually going to have to go out the window. So I
Oh,
wonder if
but then
they,
for the ranked ones, you just turn that off, and for the competitive, like, yeah, you just don't equip those, and then it's still the same hero kit though.
yeah, but that's what I'm
But I
saying.
hear you,
Like,
yeah.
if they even focus on ranked at all or make that a priority for them, if they are okay with it just being the social kind of party as is thing, but then if they do that, how long are people going to stick around for it? Which, like you said, they have the new game mode that sounds fantastic. Love Jeff. Um, there's, I think we're up to like 6 or 7 leaked characters that they haven't even announced yet that are coming down the pipeline. Like, they have content ready for this. I'm just curious to see how often, how frequent, how much that brings people back. And I
Oh
hope
yeah,
I've
for sure.
still been putting time in. I've played with you a couple times. I had
Mhm.
blast playing with friends. Playing solo, I hit my usual. It's a quiet lobby, and I'm by myself, and not as fun. But the moments are there. I've been forced into healing role nonstop, but I will take it. Still getting
Yeah,
those
hey, the
MVPs.
footage you're showing on stream, if you're not watching it, check it out. Like, I'm holding it down with Cap right here. But yeah, there's sometimes I instantly will choose a DPS because I'm like, no, like I want to switch it up because I usually wait till the end and choose what needs to be filled in. Because yeah, a lot of times we'll have games with no healers or games with no tank, and it's like, well, okay, well, like we kind of need at least one. So but it makes I've enjoyed doing that, honestly, trying different characters and whatnot. Cloak and Dagger are fun. I know that's like one of your main. Tried them out, held it down for a little bit that round, so I got the hang of them. They're a fun a duo character right there. But yeah, I think it's just theirs to lose at this point. I think this could be a game that is solid from this point. They could dive into rank and lose the casual. They can not dive in the rank and lose that audience. And it's just we'll see what they do. They like you said, they have stuff ready to go. It's just when they reveal it and when they get it out there. But it definitely is a New Year thing. Maybe a Christmas Day surprise. I could see them just dropping that off for fun, but I wouldn't expect that to be anything huge if they do something like that. But who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. This, I'm, if anyone is getting any sort of console for Christmas or you're buying one for a family, just do the due diligence and download this early, pre-install it on there so it's good to go. Like, this is that kind of holiday hotness now, which is awesome. Going into 2025, it's a stacked year. Be curious to see where Rivals is at a year from today with everything else coming on. Kudos to you, NetEase. Prove me wrong.
Yeah.
Where do you want to go next, Kyle? You got a couple. I got Tails. Where do you want to go next? We're just knocking these out this week. Playing stuff holiday break.
Yeah, I could talk about my two little my genre that I'm inching towards more and more being just in love with. Actually, I've been in love with the simulation games. But yeah, this I've mentioned them both a couple times, but I just can't stay away from both Manor Lords and City Skylines and City Skylines 2. But now I'm committed to two. But I own City Skylines on Steam, and I have a couple packs that I bought on a Steam sale. So I was playing that for fun, but then I was like, no, let me pop over to the newest one and commit to that. So let's talk about City Skylines 2. I'm not sure why I started playing it again. I think I saw a TikTok, and then I liked it, and then I got fed a lot of City Skylines TikToks of just people. There's some guy building a city, and he's just the little clicky tiled noises and the no audio from the game. It's just his deep sultry voice, and it's like, oh, look at him put that roundabout and talk about traffic hierarchy. And it's just been calming. So I've been playing it and having a fun time with that. I know it didn't launch like perfect. Like when we talk about City Skylines 2, when it came out Xbox PC Game Pass, it's there right now. It had some issues for sure. There were some bugs in the game that would like track every little person, and it caused like some computers to be bugged down. There's something in that regard, and then there was like a homeless issue where everyone just ended up homeless and never leaving, and stuff like little things. There's going from City Skyline 1, of course, when you have a robust DLC catalog and shit, and then all these mods, and you could the second one. There's always issues. People didn't like it, all the community. So I kind of fell off of it. But now that I've gone back, I'm having a fun time just putting the head down, organizing, getting to work. Uh, I've started watching some YouTube videos with some tips and how to make money and the best strategies and the quirks of the game and how to make it do exactly what you want by using kind of the systems of the game. You know, it's been fun. It's been a relaxing game for that. I've been driving around the city where I live and looking around and like, oh yeah, like there's that type of road. There's like a one-way street with parking. Okay, I see how they did that, and I see now that I'm driving, I'm living it. I think that would work in my city that I'm designing. So it's always funny how games can like eke into your real life and like influence your thinking a little bit. So that's been fun with that. So it's just on PC for now. There was a console release that they canceled, or it's indefinitely. I don't know if it's canceled, but it's not. It was supposed to be like day and day, and that got moved, and now I don't even think it has a date. So there's just been some stuff with it, but they just put out an update for it that fixes a lot of those issues. Not yeah, a lot of those issues and adds more parks and smaller parks to put between buildings and whatnot. So it's just cozy and fun to kind of get into the Duffy and build a city. Which ties into the next game I'm also playing, which I put more time into, and that's Manor Lords, which is like City Skylines but medieval. It's medieval. It's dirt, not city. That doesn't make any sense. um, that's another city builder simulation game, but this one also has army strategy RTX real time strategy elements to it, which kicked my ass last night. Lost my game because they had two armies, and I did not realize that. They wiped out my first, and I had one guy left, and they had 5 more behind me. They came out and I lost. Anyways, but yeah, it's one thing. The art is like the design, the graphics are really really well done. It's an early access, so there's some quirks with certain things, but um, it's a top down city builder game. You can go into on stream. You can go into first person mode and walk around your city, which is just a really really cool thing to do. It's in like work in progress, of course, but I haven't had issues with it. But yeah, you build your little hovels. There's a couple different modes where there's no combat. You're just trying to build a big city. Then there's there's a mode where you're competing with other people, other computer AI to claim all the territory within that zone and continue on and so forth. But yeah, you can also so you're building your city. So you got to worry about food for your villagers. You got to worry about fuel to make yourselves warm throughout the year, because then winter comes around and you're going through like 5, 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 years in this game. It kind of moves pretty well. Towards the long end would be 100 years, but you're definitely getting through multiple winters in this game here. But you're also like leveling up the households to be like to a bakery, so then they bake bread, so then your town can have food, so you don't have to worry about like they bake a little more efficiently. Then they have blacksmith, and they make like the weapons for your army, so you also have to like assign people and then get the right gear and get the right stuff in to like be able to make the weapons to then raise an army to then go out and fight. So I just touched that last night, getting to the point where I have an army, and I'm actively like having these battles with people. So you go to claim a province because you want those resources and you want to expand. You want the whole control of the map, and then the other computer has the option to like contest you for it. And if it's their zone, they most likely will. And then you have like a battle. It's like the battle for this province, whatever it's called. And then you have like it's like 90 to 100 days to go meet and like decide who is going to come victor of this battle. So I haven't played a game that goes from here's your 5 settlers, here's your starting supplies, now build a town. It's starting there to going to a point where you are raising an army and going out and fighting and leaving your town behind. Like it feels different than an Age of Empires, which feels a little more like curated and like here's your building. This one is like you're like designing the plots yourself for the houses. So it's just like a square, but you can shape it however you want. You can make it as big or small. When you set your points, you can like plus or minus how many houses are built on that plot of land that you selected, each costing resources and whatnot. So there's a lot of like customizing to each thing you could see on stream right now. So it just feels a little different, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's still in early access. A lot they're still working on. I know they showed on. It's in beta, I think, for like their testers. I don't think it's on the Game Pass one. But they're redoing their markets because each house is upgraded by they need certain amenities met, like water. They care about having a church near them, and they to upgrade to like level 2 they need to have the church level 2 or whatnot. So then they need access to food, clothing, and fuel supply shops, and then you have little marketplaces in the little towns for them. uh, so it's just you get real into it and into your Duffy, and there's a lot of little logistical things that just kind of figure themselves out. But once you kind of claim another province, though, you start over and you have another town and settlement to begin anew and make. So I haven't gotten to that point. I just touched the army stuff and they wiped my ass and I lost all my territory, so the game was over, which is fine. They gave me no game over screen either. I just couldn't do anything because I didn't own any region. So that was fun.
Just forced to sit and
work in
watch.
progress. Work in progress. I just was like, oh, I guess I'm done. I'm just gonna quit now. But yeah, so surprisingly, really, really fun game. Like I said, great graphics. Yeah, I'm having a blast with it. So there's just something about simulation games where you can just like click, 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 build to build, and then like 3 times speed and like do progress, and you're like, all right, next thing, next thing, next thing. Now all my towns are like cobblestone houses. It just is so cool.
Good. Yeah, that's going to be my first question. Actually, was like, what's the hook for you? But just explained it because to me, looking at this, like listening to you describe it, it is comes across as very daunting. Honestly, the closest I've gotten to anything like this, which sounds goofy as hell, is the 2 Point series from Sega. Like 2 Point Campus, 2 Point Museum is out next year. Can't wait. Those I love. It's very much what you're describing of resources, managing people's amenities, how happy they are, what their needs are, sending them out to do different tasks to complete whatever objective you're on, but on a much more micro scale level. Instead of doing whole cities,
yes and
you're
no.
just a building.
Yeah, I would say yes and no to the micro macro level there. Like, because I played the 2 Point series, so I think I get what you're trying, like what you're meaning by that, and how it compares to this game. But there's like give and takes. Like, it is pretty simple in some things. Like, as long as you don't have people work or assigned, they're gonna be completing stuff for you. So, yeah, I hear what you're saying though. I think 2 Point is definitely simpler, like of a game compared to this. I would say.
Yeah, by a mile, which I enjoy. Like, I don't know, when I see stuff like this, or even like when I tried playing Halo Wars 2 earlier this year, obviously a different thing, but at times it starts to feel I don't get the relaxing kind of like zone out and just dig into it sort of mindset with it. I get super stressed. It becomes like a job. I'm sweating on my couch. Like,
And I will say there is like different modes. So like one is just build a city, right? And then there's like difficulty relaxing where things are a little more relaxing. That's pretty self-explanatory there. And then normal and then more challenging and whatnot. And then there's ones where you will be like actively fighting, like bandits will appear and just run through your town and burn everything down. So that's fun. But
that's
then you
fun.
just rebuild everything and nothing actually matters. It just makes you not be able to harvest for that winter, and then all your crops are screwed up, and then you have no food for the next year, so everyone dies, and then they hate you. But then you just bury the bodies, and no one cares in the next year.
Good lord.
So yeah, yeah, yeah. It's fun. So I'm excited to see what they do. Like I said multiple times, it's early access. It's on PC Game Pass. It's for sale, so if you want to hop in and get it, if you're into those early access stuff and communicating and helping make the game what it is, go check it out because it's like version 0.8 right now or something. So I don't know if they have any announcements towards release date or any inkling, but very, very, very fun in its current state. I'm excited to see they have a bunch of policies, but there's only 2 right now. The rest are locked out of early access. So I'm like intrigued to see what those policies are, because like one is they eat less food, but they get mad at you, and then the other one is your citizens will you get like more fur, but you collect less from your crops. They're like, well, I want my crops. I don't want to collect less from my crops, so I'm not using any policies. I just want to be a policy guy, right? City skylines, you have policies like a gated community and no traffic, no heavy traffic, so all the citizens don't get sick from air pollution. Like in one district, they all hate me because they are covered in pollution because I put them right downwind from the industrial zone.
Huh.
That's what I've been doing. I've just been a little manager over here.
He's
I've
like,
been taking care of a baby and then taking care of computer people. What am I doing?
holiday break, time to build a city.
What am I doing right now?
They enjoy it. Like I said, it's people get joy out of it. You're obviously killing it, having a great time. Like, it's not a me game. Not every game has to be for everybody.
Yeah, I would also have been playing Flight Simulator 2024. However, the last 2 times my flight it crashed, so I had to restart the
Playing
flight.
or the game?
Like, the game. No, the game.
Yeah,
the game kept crashed the last 2 flights for when I did my career mode, and I was like, I'll come back another day.
got a sour taste in my mouth now.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh well. But I was enjoying my time with that, so I do want to go back to it. But in time. So that's my little simulation talk.
It's been a good year. Good year. Are you? What's the next one next year? Ages next year? Is anyone coming out?
No, Civilization 7 is
yes.
in February, which I am very interested in. I have purposely not been playing Civ 6 for a while now, and Aura History Untold, I've tried that, but it was a little too much Civvy to me, and I want to wait. Civilization was my put on a podcast, put on a movie, listen to a lecture, an assignment, and just click Civ, baby. Put it on marathon mode. I'm playing this for months, baby. Like we're taking our time. So,
good lord.
I don't know if I'm gonna buy Civ 7. I would love to review it, but I don't think I'm gonna be accepted to that program since they haven't gotten back to me and it's been months.
It's the holiday time.
No. I mean, this was months ago. Though. This is like, that's the joke here. Like, this was months ago, so we're waiting. But yeah, I don't know if I'll buy it right away. But it will be something I do pick up because I have a soft spot in my heart for Civ games. That's like Civilization Revolution on the Xbox 360 was my first Civilization game, and that started it all.
See, you got to pitch them. Be like, I'll do this, and I'll do it as the angle of, is Civ good for you if you have a baby? You multitask Civ and baby at the same time. Be like, God damn it, he's right. Give him a code.
That's actually I just don't want to use my child for content, though.
They won't know. We won't know. Well, we all now, but...
What do you mean you won't know? What does that mean? What?
You pitch them that way, but then you just do a normal review afterwards. Be like, also, I had a baby at the time.
And they go, oh, okay, well, thanks for that. We're never working with you again. Because you didn't do what we asked. Or you did it, but just in a weird way.
Just in a weird way.
Anyways, but yeah. Well, if you're listening, 2K, and you need someone, I'm here.
He's here. I'm glad you're able to have a good time gaming. Outside of my xDefiant grinds, I wish I could say the same. And I've sadly been a couple hours into... in the nicest sense of the word, a letdown for me so far this year. I mentioned earlier, been playing Tales of Kinzera this week. This was announced at the Game Awards last year. 2D Metroidvania, very deeply based in African folklore and just spiritual religion and stuff. At the time, I thought it looked cool. I still think it looks cool. It's a very pretty, vibrant, colorful game, varied set pieces, varied landscapes. Um, as far as being a game, though, it's just not quite hitting for me, which in some ways isn't fair, as Metroidvanias aren't normally my ish to begin with. Try them out. I play through them. I'm not as raving about them as everyone else is, but this one you can do about 10 minutes, I would say, and you could almost without question be like, this is someone's first time doing a game. This is very first game level blues and direction and just how everything feels. Um, to start though, it is you are essentially a shaman in training, a young shaman whose father recently passed. You get a bright idea to go appease three other gods to offer their souls to the god of death, who said he would revive your father. Don't know if that happens yet. Again, only halfway through. Um, so a lot of the story and stuff is really good. A lot of the conversations are dealing with acceptance and grief and acting out of rage and revenge over emotions and stuff like that. Like it's a very deep game story wise, but the parts in between the actual gameplay is where it's dropped off for me. Um, Combat is very basic. You have maybe 3 combos max between a light and a dark mask you can switch to. One of them is a ranged base, one is a melee. Um, you have a dodge that sometimes work. A lot of the times combos from enemies will just kind of go right through it and knock you down anyways. So you just jump back up, hit them a couple times to get knocked down again, then jump back up. It's very back and forth without feeling rewarding. Um, the ranged combat in this, the aiming is done with the left stick, which is also how you move, obviously. So if you're trying to aim in a left or right direction in any way, you'll start walking as well as trying to aim. So I've repeatedly walked off cliffs while trying to fight enemies. Doesn't feel good. It's just a mixture of little things that just have added up to a very okay experience. If I had to give this like this is a solid 6, I would say right now for me. Um, I'm curious to see what they do next. They have announced their next game, which is sort of more focused on like futuristic cyberpunk, still in Tales of Kanzero realm, like they're building this up to be its own universe sort of thing. So I'm curious to see where they go and what they've learned from this. It was very disappointing. I was super hyped, hoping for something awesome, hidden sleeper indie hit, but just got a very okay game. Which isn't, I mean, it happens, but
Yeah. Well, I think it also is the studio's first game ever.
yep.
From again helmed by Boubacar Salim, who's an actor, House of Dragon, Raised by Wolves. I think that's the other show and whatnot. And of course, famously known from the Game Awards last year, where he showed it off and cried, and people made fun of that. So
Dumb.
so I think there's like when it's a new game, like, do you see good direction though? Like, it's like, all right, this, because you said right away, like, this is definitely their first game. That's not like an indictment of anything bad, right? That's just
No.
that's felt and that's fine. But so do you think there's like more that the studio can do, obviously, outside of reiterating and such? But like, do they do stuff in here and you're like, oh yeah, no, there's something here. It's just we need to reiterate it more, gain some more experience within the industry,
Yeah,
within
100%.
game making.
And that's like I said, the story is top tier, like very great story. It's just everything that ties that in between.
Mm.
Zones, the map is very spread out. You'll have multiple screens, quote unquote. It's a seamless transition between scenes and backgrounds. But there's multiple of those with just nothing happening, no enemies, and then you'll get to one stop frame where enemies will spawn. You have to fight them to continue on. There's not like a natural pathway
Oh.
of traversal in combat. It's very start and stop, which whatever. Like I said, combat, rework on that, get that nailed down, whether more moves, work on parries, work on whatever it is. Um some back end stuff. If you're I've experienced it a couple times now where when you're playing a 2D game, your character should be centered in the screen for the most part, right? Camera should be following along with you. There's been times where it's had me do like a chase scene or I'm sliding down some sort of hill or I'm dashing too much where the camera just like fights to keep up and
Mm.
falls super behind and it is very off-putting. Especially this morning, I had before a boss fight where it was like you're being chased by shadows, whatever. Run to the right, the camera's trying to keep up. Then on a dime, you need to start going to the left because the shadow appear on the other side, and just multiple deaths nonstop to stuff like that because the camera and game couldn't actually keep up with what I was doing. And I think they know it's an issue because after a certain amount of deaths, it gave me like a little character showed up that usually you use for fast travel. It was like, hey, you can just skip all this if you want. Like skip to the boss. So I'm like, that doesn't like if it was deaths I felt were because of me, I would be like, okay. But it's like I was fighting against the game itself.
Yeah.
So it's a list of little things that I don't know if the new game's gonna be same 2D style or if they're doing something different. I kind of hope it is just so they have a second attempt at like correcting their wrongs.
Yeah. Oh, that would be great to see because I think, hey, everyone deserves two chances. Just like Antonio Pierce, don't fire him one more year. Dan Campbell, he got more years and he did good. I saw what you reposted. Dan Campbell went 0-12 to start the season. Now they're Super Bowl contenders. So Raiders, we look bad with our coach, but former linebacker head coach can do it. Anyways, that's a football.
You guys
rant.
won today.
That's not good. We want the number one pick. We don't want to beat the Jaguars. We need the number one pick so we have choice and options so we can trade back and scalp the people who are desperate. But now we're the desperate ones, and now we're going to get scalped. Anyway, sorry to tangent on football. That you distracted me with the Raider stuff. Now I forgot what we were talking about. I am blaming you for this.
Their second game and working on fixes or what have you.
Yes, give them like a second attempt, and then you'll really see what a studio and what anyone is up to. It's not what you do the first time; it's how you like respond and what you do from that moment on. Right? That's just life. So I do hope they get a second chance. I know the studio is kind of in this weird situation where they've come out and said like they don't have funding, they don't have money, they will be shutting down, they kind of are ceasing operations. I know that's not like, I don't know how accurate that is, but I know they're looking for money. I don't know if they have a financer yet, so there's some stuff we don't know if they'll get a chance yet, but I hope they do because it's someone who took a chance in an industry they love, and they made something that was raw, and like you said, the story is really good, so let's lean into that.
Yeah, to add on to that right now with on Steam sale, this is currently a $10 game. So I mean, if you want a good story and are okay toughing through points, it's available, it's there. I just again, it's my own personal shit of biting me in the ass from, hey, this came out way before now. I was interested in it for so long that now finally jumping into it, I'm like, okay, well, didn't have to wait this long to get into it, which my own personal issues, but that's been it on my end. Marvel Rivals, xDefiant, Tales. I do also have, which may be my holiday game. I'm worried that as soon as I clock out Tuesday, I'm going to come home, I'm going to start it up, and I'm not going to get anything else done this week. I do also finally have my copy of Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster on my Xbox. Frank West, I'm coming home. Willamette Mall, Colorado, I'm coming for you. Zombies, watch out.
You have no experience with that game at all, or that whole franchise.
God, what a game. What a game, Kyle. Go bowling for zombies. Ride around in a shopping cart running them over. Great times.
I played a little bit of Dead Island, but I know they're not the same at all. But
yeah, way
those are just a series that have just missed me. But I'm happy for you. Happy.
Man. With that though, I think we may call it there, Kyle. Second to last show of the year. Next year, come back for awards. Looking ahead at 2025. Put a nice bow on 2024 as we will be recording on the 29th. A couple days left of the year. A lot to look forward to. See some stuff happening in January we'll be having on the show. I'm excited. Fantasy Critic next year is going to be hopefully great. More active. Another clean sweep for me.
You cheated though.
I cheated.
I'm just saying you. Five, four. How many games didn't come out this year that I chose? That's you. You did that. Also, I put in trade request and no one responded, and I think that's you. Someone is the commissioner and didn't approve certain trades to go through, and it's the winner of our league this
one,
year.
I don't
So,
approve those. Two, one of them.
I don't know the rules, so the
and
commissioner does something.
two, one of them you said we were talking about it in Discord playing League the other day. He's like, "Oh, so he wants to use my points to try and beat you?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna do that." Just out of spite. I was like, "Oh, dirty."
Why? Why help you? I wouldn't have even have been close, because it is nowhere near close. I lost.
150. Yeah, we got a couple guests joining us for that next month. Checking with them throughout the year. I'm excited. Make some new friends on the show. For me this week, just streaming more Banjo still. Episode 4 is up on YouTube now. Uploaded our 8th favorite game of the year on TikTok today. That will be in our final wrap up eventually. Slowly working through. It's on a game we talked about last week. Finally did a review on. I redid my list and it dropped a couple spots, but shout out to Dragon Age. Kai, what you got going on this week? With the holidays and everything else going on, streaming it all?
I'm committing to nothing because I haven't been able to. So I got to do some more like recorded content so I can still get stuff up. I gotta also be like work that into the thing because yeah, I just haven't been able to stream and do that this week. I still want to play Liza P. That is still on the docket in the grand list of stuff of doing stuff on stream. That's like probably I can't think of anything else I would want to play on stream long term other than like Arrivals or Call of Duty, but that's those don't count. That's different. So yeah, so no commitment there, unfortunately. Holidays and schedules are crazy. Life.
Yep.
But we will be here Sunday, that's for sure.
Post Christmas, can't wait. End of the year has gotten here so fast. Thinking back to like our show last year we were doing, and now I'm like, it feels like a blur. 2024
crazy,
in general.
Yeah, it's crazy to think we were doing this now for a year. That's pretty insane.
Thank y'all for stopping by, hanging around with us. If you're celebrating for the holidays, I hope you all have a wonderful time. Get some good games in. Mariah Carey's in Fortnite now. I forgot to mention that. Go check that out. Game of the year. We'll catch you all next Sunday.
At least it's not Chrissy Teigen.
Not just Mariah Carey.